Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you guys an update to my Rokket Yugioh deck profile for post-Extreme Force. Really excited with a lot of the new support we got for this deck because I was really happy when we got this deck because it looks like a lot of fun. It was Revolver's deck in Vrains. It still is, obviously, but we didn't get enough of the support really from the last pack to make a full-on Rokket fun deck. But we got the new field spell, a couple more Rokket cards. So let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile because I'm really happy with how it turned out in the end. So I run 3 Magna Rokket Dragon. All of the Rokket Dragons have special summon effects and other effects that either destroy, negate, or stop other cards on the field. When a Link Monster's effect is activated that targets this face-up card on the field, it's a quick effect. You could destroy this card, then send one monster on the field to the graveyard. During the end phase, if this card is in the graveyard because it was destroyed on the field by battle or card effect and sent there this turn, you can special summon one Rokket monster from your deck except for Magna Rokket. You can only use each effect once per turn. So they all have the destruction special summon effect, which is really good for keeping consistent monsters on the field. And the send effect is good because it stops cards that can't be destroyed by battle or card effects, and it just sends. The one thing is you gotta be careful when you're going into your Link plays. What resources you want to make and go big on that play because you might mess up if they stop the play, negate the summon, because you won't be able to get off any more special summons. So sometimes it's just good to sit on those Rockets until you have a good board to go for your Link summons. Also running 3 of the new Metal Rokket Dragon. With this one, when a Link monster targets this card on the field, you destroy this card, then destroy all cards your opponent controls in the column this card was in. During the end phase that was destroyed and sent to the graveyard, you special summon one Rokket monster from your deck except for Metal Rokket Dragon. It's basically the column effect, which I find really cool because then you can basically set this card up in the column you want to take care of anything pesky that your opponent controls, and then you get another special summon off. Plus it's another level 4 Rokket, just like Magna Rokket, so you have options for potential exceed plays if you really need to go for some of those monsters as well. And I also run 3 Auto Rokket Dragon. With this one, you can send one spell or trap on the field of the graveyard, and it basically shares the same special summon effects as well. So with more Rokket monsters to go into, that just means you also have more options of what to special summon out to the field as well. So I love this card. Also got 1600 attack for a level 3 monster, 1700 for Metal Rokket, and 1800 for Magna Rokket, making them pretty powerful, so heavy hitters as well that you run in the deck. For some of the lower ones, I only have 1 Shell Rokket Dragon. I would like to run 2 of this card. Say in a second, I'd probably take out the Anis the Rokket, which is the level 1. But this one destroys cards that are in the adjacent to this card. So basically, during the end phase, you get the special summon effect. But then you destroy one monster in the column of this card that was in. If you destroy any monsters in this card's adjacent zones. So the adjacent zones, meaning it's not like Metal Rokket with the same column, the ones beside it, so you have that to go off of. Just to that, though, I find the column plays with the Metal Rokket are a little bit more consistent because you'll grab what you want easier. And I also run the 3 Anis the Rokket, but I would most likely bump this card down to 2 and run 2 Shell Rockets as well. Just for the lower level, lower attack ones. They have not as good of an effects as the bigger ones, but still, ones that you would like to have for special summoning into, especially since Anis the Rokket has 2200 defense and Shell Rokket has 2000 defense, so good shield walls as well. With this one, you can make one face a monster on the field, unable to attack, and it has its effects negated. So kind of like an effect veiler in a sense with its effect. So not too bad, but not one I would really want to run 3 of because you can't do too much because there are a lot of ways to get around effect negation now with a lot of decks out there. That's it for the Rokket monsters. Moving on to the non-ones. 3 Gateway Dragons. Still love this card. Lets you, if your opponent controls a Link monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon Gateway once per turn this way, and once per turn you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower Dark Dragon from your hand. So you can grab Rockets that you need. If they have the Link monster, it's a special summon, so you won't take up your normal. A good way to swarm the field, because you can special summon 1 from your hand, and then, even normal summon 1 if this card didn't take up the normal summon. And I also run 2 Link Belt Wall Dragon. Now I like this card basically because he's a good shield to sit on. Plus he's another high level dragon that you can get to make use of with Twin Triangle Dragon, because that's the one thing I said the deck was lacking. So with this, it cannot be normal summoned or set. Must first be special summoned by its own effect. When you link summon, you can special summon this card from your hand. If you do, place 2 counters on it. If a monster is link summoned, remove 2 counters from this card for all, if less than 2. Once per turn during the standby phase, you place one of these counters on all of the monsters. No monsters can be link summoned unless this card has at least as many of those counters. So it's a good way to play the defense. It's an easy special summon off the link as well, but those counters can really make it hefty for your opponent to summon something out on the field. But like I said, that just additional special summon that you can get off with this as well plays really hard for what you can do with this deck. And I also run 2 Destrudo, the Lost Dragon Frisson. Just another easy dragon monster to get out with the deck, so can't go wrong there. Plus you'll potentially have some synchro plays as well, depending on what you send for this card for level 7 monster plays with this. And also 2 Wyvern Buster. I run this because you run a majority of dark monsters, so you have the potential to banish and get an easy special summon out on the field. And I also run 1 Red Eyes Darkness Metal, very easy to get out, and special summon additional dragon monsters to the field with this card as well. And 1 Gofu, just because it's easy link summon power, gives you basically a free Deco Taco or whatever else you need, how you make use of the tokens and whatnot. But that's it for the monsters. Heavy monster count again, but that's what's really good for a lot of these link spammy decks out there. But we'll go ahead and move on to the spells. I run 3 Quick Launch. This card, way too good in the deck. You special summon 1 rocket monster from your deck. It cannot attack and destroy during the end phase, so you get that destruction effect, but it's basically a free monster and quick play, so you can activate during your opponent's turn if you need to get a rocket out and go off of their own destruction effects. And I also run 2 Squib Draw. Now I only run 2 Squib Draw because it is draw power, but sometimes, when I tried 3 Squib Draw, I opened up too many Squib Draws and not enough rocket monsters to destroy, or not any at all, so I really was just a dead card in hand until I could grab it, and by then it was too late. But 2 is the comfortable number for that draw effect. I usually, with this, end up grabbing what I need for those plays. And I also run 2 Boot Sector Launch. This is the new field spell for the rocket monsters. All rocket monsters on the field gain 300 attack and defense, helps with a lot of their high up attack buffs, and you can activate one of these effects, special summon up to 2 rocket monsters with different names from your hand and defense. If your opponent controls more monsters than you do, special summon rocket monsters with different names from your graveyard in defense up to the difference. So you have 2 special summon options here, both that you can make use of if your opponent's kind of got the majority of the plays on you. And you can only use this effect once per turn. So good field spell just to keep on the field, grab resources, special summon, always have needs to go into. And I also run 1 Fire Prison. It's another good stall card to play off of, and it's a field spell, so you can search either this or Boot Sector Launch off of the Terraforming, depending on what you need for that specific moment in the game. And I also run 2 Allure of Darkness, more draw power along with the Squib Draw. You run plenty of dark monsters to make use of as well in the deck, so we like running this. Now, I like to run 1 Transmodify matched up with my 2 Allure. If you want to run 3 Allure of Darkness, you could take out the Transmodify and put in a 3rd Allure. That's completely player preference, but Transmodify, we have so many different level dragons to go in this deck. You can, really help depending on what you need for that specific play. And plus the 1 Terraforming for the search of whatever field spell you need. And also 1 Upstart Goblin for draw power, 1 Soul Charge, 1 Foolish Burial for the Frisson graveyard plays. And for the traps, I run 1 Back to the Front. It's just that tech that I like to set and grab a monster. Sometimes your opponent can either you know, hit into it with Cyclone or something like that. You could chain in response and still grab your monster. Just bait them out because, you know, they might not know what this card is. But just the one of, because it does help with that special summon, if need be, to the field and defense. But that is it for the main deck. We will now move on to the extra. Now, when I was making this, forgot to put in the Synchro monsters, but I would definitely run Moonlight, Dragon, and Black Rose. I would show you at the end what I'll take out. For those, I run 2 Twin Triangle Dragons, easy to make, 2 level 4 or lower Dragon-type monsters. And when it's Link Summon, you can pay 500 life, target 1 level 5 or higher monster in your graveyard, special summon it into your zone this card points to, cannot attack, but it's a free high dragon you can get, which we run plenty of them now, to make use of with this card. And I also run for the Link 2s, 1 Underclock Taker for effect monster, buff plays, Proxy Dragon for the Gofu, Kashik Magician. Sometimes the bounce effect does come in handy a lot. And I also run one of the new Triple Burst Dragon. You need 2 or more monsters except for tokens for this card. It's a link of 3. Once per turn during the damage step, when a spell or trap or monster effect is activated, you can negate the activation. If this card attacks a defense monster, inflict piercing damage, and during the main phase, except the turn this card was special summon, you can tribute this card, target 1, link 2 or lower monster in your graveyard, special summon it, then you can special summon 1 level 4 or lower dragon monster from your hand. So it lets you grab the resources that basically made this card, the link 2 and maybe another monster, back to the field if you want to go for some other different plays. The negation effect is really good, and he's got some good attack stats as well, so I love running him in the deck. And also 1 Decode Talker, 1 Gaia Saber, 1 Ningirsu. The big card, obviously, with the deck is the Borolo Dragon. Would definitely run a second one of this and maybe take out either the Firewall or the Topologic Bomber Dragon to replace that. And like I said, I have the 1 Dark Rebellion, the Baguska, and the Tornado in here, but I would probably take out the either the Tornado and the Dark Rebellion, throw in a Black Rose and a Moonlight Rose Dragon instead, and just have the Baguska, because with the Frisson you do have some more consistent plays with that instead for Synchro Summoning instead of going into Exceed monsters. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. Once again, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and until next time, Kira Twig out.